your Dallas Cowboys. Brought to you by Pepsi, made for Cowboys watching. Want to use what the pros use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. 877-881-1053. The number to call, the number to text. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian brought us some texts rolling in here. Where was Jaden Blue from the 817? And that's a bone bruise.
That's a bone bruise. Yeah, he's dealing with a heel. He was in a boot, and it sounds like that hopefully he will be back next week practicing. But that was initially it was a sprained ankle. They did an MRI on the ankle. Then they found it was a bone bruise on the heel. So that's why Jalen Blue was not a participant tonight.
And then as we talk about the run defense, several texts coming in about Mazy Smith.
He's not good enough, and that's the problem with. And it's hard to play this game. And Mazy wasn't the only one that had troubles up front. But Mazy Smith, and I say this a bunch, football is a tough game. And to play the game, you know, I'm not going to ever question anybody's toughness that plays in the NFL or plays high school football or college football. Football is not an easy game to play. But when you do not love football, and I believe Mazy Smith is really struggling right now. I think Mazy Smith's spirit has been, killed. Different coaches he's had to deal with. Jeff Sagina, I think, did a really nice job with him last year, at least getting him able to play in those games, those division games. But Mazy Smith looks like a guy that really wants a way out right now.
Yeah.
If they said, hey, Mazy Smith, you're done with football with the Dallas Cowboys, Mazy Smith would probably be happy about that.
I think that's one of the biggest issues when we talk about sometimes with the way the team's built. I do think the Cowboys will try and give their draft picks every ounce of opportunity before they're willing to cut ties.
The 3-year rule, for sure. Yeah, and Mazy's had.
I don't think you need the third year for Mazy.
I don't think so either. And they've got to figure out how they're going to play this thing up front. With. We've seen.
Winfrey got some penetration tonight. He's a guy that'll play with high pad level too.
Absolutely,
but he looks better than Mazy.
Yeah, that's the
Toia. Did he show up on the stat sheet? No, but he gets off the football.
Yeah. They've got to kind of figure out some of these things. No question in the run game part of it though, and I'll tell you another thing they got to figure out is the nickel corner situation, because nothing against Keeman Hall, but there was a couple times tonight where they went after him. And there was separation there, and he didn't make the plays. He probably didn't drive on it well enough, didn't read it well enough. We'll see if Zion Childers gets some more work. I saw him late in the game getting some work at the nickel corner, but that it just shows you how much missing Jordan Lewis will be in these games likely.
I've advocated for a long time there might not be a more important spot in the secondary. With how teams are motioning and they'll put their best wide receiver in the slot to try and gain matchups. And we were lucky enough to get to talk with Deron Bland on our weekday show, the G-Bag Nation, on the flagship 105.3 The Fan.
No doubt.
And I asked Bland, hey, I loved your play mentality. I think you've got the right temperament. You got to be wanting to play physical. You got to be willing to mix it up in the running game, short area quickness. And he smiled and appreciated it, but he wants to play on the outside. I think a lot of that might have to do with the contract, but I don't think there's a doubt. Really, he's the only guy that you probably have confidence in. If you had to line up and play Philly today, Deron Bland's probably going to have to kick inside for you.
Yeah, we've seen Elam at times be very good in practice. The 8 practices that I got to watch, 9 practices, saw 3 interceptions from him. So that part of it was very positive. Bland.
I think it was 25 plays to 6 or something at one point, and that's obviously not a great way to start. They converted some 4th downs, and they controlled the ball. We had the 3 and outs. I think Joe was throwing some fastballs out there early. And I'm proud of our guys the way they settled down, but certainly not the right way to start the game. And that's what
6 passing plays.
And, I told the guys, hey, we competed hard, but we got to clean some stuff up. We can't have the penalties, 11 penalties or whatever that was. And at the end of the day, it's like we put ourselves in a chance in the second half to maybe make a run, and we just couldn't gain the momentum. When we scored, we kind of gave up a touchdown, and we got to play better complementary football.
Cowboys. Just talk about your first time out. I know it's not the real game. It's preseason, still your first time head coach. Jerry said some stuff on the radio about you guys shared a moment.
Yeah, we did.
The phone lines are open. You just got to get your place in line.
The stadium, and then when Jerry and I talked a little bit, I'll be honest, I got a little emotional. It's been a dream of mine to be in this chair, and he and I were just talking about our journeys, and we were telling some stories, and he's obviously been in a long time. I've been in a long time. It was just the two of us, and I'm very appreciative of him and the Jones family for having
crying
me in this chair.
boys.
And like I've told you guys from the beginning, no one's going to work harder than me, and we're going to go look at this film and try to clean it up. And I think we've got some good film to look at from an evaluation standpoint. But at the end of the day, I'll remember this day for a long time. It's not the result that we wanted, but first time out there as a head coach, it felt pretty cool.
It's been clean up things. I don't know if you need to clean up 88 on where he's supposed to stand. You talked to him about that, and
yeah,
every moment because he could have got hurt.
Yeah, briefly. Again, I'll speak to the whole discipline part, just like the pre-snap penalties, that penalty. We got to be better with discipline, and I think I hope the guy's okay. I think he's okay. The official that they ran into, but we have to be better than that. CD knows better, we know better, but the discipline on our part, we're fine with the combative penalties. But, when we don't line up off sides, they warned us a couple times, and, we have to do a better job, coaching and playing, and, hey, move up tackles. I think Awesome got called twice, and, you can't give away penalties in this league, and so we have to be better.
Brian Tosh with ESPN. The operation of things, how did being on the sideline, having Flutes down there, how did all that stuff go for the first time out?
I think it went good. Threw my first challenge flag ever. That was kind of cool. They told me I threw a nice one. The reason we challenged that was it was fourth down. It was a big play. I mean, it was down inside the 10-yard line, like a 40-yard bomb, and we did think that the ball moved a little bit, and they admitted that it moved, but they did think that he maintained the catch. But I thought in that situation it was worth it just because it was fourth down. We're about to get the ball at midfield, and but overall, I mean, I thought the communication was good. We played some of these situations like a real game because I needed to work those situations with my staff and decision making and things like that. And then there were other ones that we played like preseason. There's a few times we probably would have onside kicked and done things like that. That last situation we scored, I told Flus, let's play this like 4 minute. We were down 10 points and wanted to see us get a stop. And again, we were great. Really, I think we gave up 2 point something in the first half run defense wise. And then the second half, we just kind of didn't tackle very well. And I think it was Corum that was going off on us. But overall, I thought a lot of things to learn from, a lot of things that came up for me. But I thought the communication, for the most part, between myself and the staff.
I'll tell you who it is, Coach.
Was good.
Something very, very interesting that Brian Schottenheimer just said, Anthony. You and I were talking about it before the show, that tackling is really an art. And
it was Schrader that went off on us.
It's really hard to practice that.
Right, it's so many days that they only get so many days where they actually have.
Man, I don't give a damn about days. Everybody got the same days, man. Everybody got the same hours, same days, same salary cap. Everybody got the same thing, man. So let's not start talking about days. I don't like that, because they had the same amount of days. The Rams were not afforded more days than us, And the distance to travel to this game was similar because we were right there in Oxnard, right? Cody Schrader was the guy. He averaged 11. Put this down on y'all mental cranium. He averaged 11.8 yards per run. That's a lot of yards, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the bottom line, regardless of the situation. The Cowboys were penalized 11 times. I get all of that. The costly penalties as far as illegal formation. I know since the history of time, you got to have 7 on that line of scrimmage. You can't have 8. You can't have 6. You got to have 7. And, of course, you can't have 5. So the Cowboys got to correct those issues before we can go anywhere else. All right, so with that being said, we got to do better, ladies and gentlemen. Far as what Brian Broadus was saying, far as moving Bland down inside. Let me just kill all of this stuff. Bland wants to play on the outside. Money is a major factor. Cowboys are not to be trusted, even though they will say that we will pay Bland for whatever he's valued and worth. But by him playing nickel, that's a whole different world. Put it like this. If you slide Bland inside, who are the hell would be your outside corners? Elam is not better than Bland. Diggs is still recovering. You still will have a hole in your DB spot. So I don't get why people are still saying Bland will be better inside. What makes you think Bland would be better inside? Let me know. Or what makes you think that this team would be better if you slide Bland inside? You still will have a hole. The Cowboys, in order to fix F-I-X, the DB room is not on this team. You will have to go out and make a trade acquisition or get off of your high horse, pick up the phone and spend a little cash and get Stephon Gilmore. Bland is an outside corner. That's where he's been playing at for all of these years. Granted, his original spot was to play inside. But due to injuries, due to all of these other things that happen, he's an outside corner in the contract year. Elam is good. Elam is good. I like Elam. But it's not enough for us to sit here with a straight face and say, yeah. Childress is a good Band-Aid, Sean D. You put Childress inside, but hey, it's not like he's a world beater. If you place Childress inside, there still will be a hole. There will still be some growing pain. It'll take about 7 to 8 years. Not 7 to 8 games, I meant to say not years. 7 to 8 games for him to get his feet together. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not beating the team up, but I'm just telling y'all. For what my eyes don't lie. Malik Davis.
I just came out here and tried to make the best of my opportunity that I got.
But it must be a certain sense of satisfaction that in just such a short amount of time, and I mean, not even really for you, like a full practice. So,
yeah.
What kind of personal satisfaction?
I mean, it's a great feeling, you know, when you're able to go out there and, you know, put on a great performance for your teammates, coaches, and most of all, just proving it to myself, like I belong here and I'm supposed to be here.
Can you talk about the reception from your teammates that you got coming back to camp?
Yeah, I was welcomed with open arms. You know, I got great relationships with a lot of guys here and coaches, and they embraced me, and it was a great feeling to be back out.
I know you have familiarity with the offense, but in terms of what you guys were able to do tonight, how much of it was, hey, things I used to know and also things that I had to learn really quickly?
It's a little bit of a mixture, a little bit of both. You know, a lot of things I was familiar with. You know, Coach advanced a few new terms.
This is Malik Davis.
I was able to pick up those things on the fly.
Yeah. When you kind of have that quick turnaround like that, does it maybe allow you to run as freely and easier maybe a little bit?
To be honest, I think so. You know, you're able to just, you're not sitting there thinking as much. You just, all right, they call, it's time to go, let's go. You know, that's how it was.
How did that conversation go? I mean, what did they tell you when there is such a short amount of preparation time?
The coaches, you know, that's just the trust that they have in me, and also the trust that I have in them. You know, the coaches trusted me to go out there on the field and show that I could pick up the playbook within a short notice and apply it. And also I show myself too that I'm capable of doing that.
Audio a little muddy.
A lot of patience.
Yeah.
To wait for this opportunity.
Definitely a lot of patience. You know, just sitting around, able to think, and just knowing I don't want to go back home. So I just knew when I got my opportunity, I had to make the most of it.
There's a lot of injuries in the backfield right now.
So that was
running back Malik Davis, who the Cowboys just brought on the team a few days ago because of a lot of the injuries on that list. He had himself a nice 18-yard run tonight. And coming up after the break, we'll have more from SoFi.
Yeah, low football IQ to anyone to say, hey, man, but Bland got cooked on the outside. Low IQ. I'm old enough to remember Deion Sanders getting cooked. I'm old enough to remember Rod Woodson getting cooked. You as a DB, you going to get cooked. You as a DB, you're going to get cooked. You as a DB, you're going to get cooked. Let me say this one more time. You as a DB going to get cooked. So there's Kyrie Elam. He's going to get cooked. All of these DBs on this team is going to get cooked. So for us to say, well, Bland, he got cooked by DK Metcalf. You can name every DB in the National Football League versus DK Metcalf. He at least got him once. There's no DB to say, hey, man, I shut DK Metcalf down, and he ain't never getting off the LA. No. And on top of that, it was Bland to the outside that caught an INT on a better route runner than DK Metcalf out of the other kid. What was the other guy he caught the INT on? Which was crazy good because he worked inside and he got him on the outside release. So you're going to get cooked as a DB. That's the natural flow of DB play. And yes, Bland didn't play tonight. But what I'm saying is for us to sit here and say, hey, kick him inside so he won't get cooked, that's bullshit. And deep down in y'all hearts, y'all know it. Y'all know it. There's no, what we going to roll with week 1, Booth and Elam, and then you slide Bland inside? That's insane. Tyler Lockett, by the way, who is a whole lot better route runner than DK Metcalf. And if the safety was doing what he's supposed to do in that game, y'all would have said, hey, that was a nice pick from the safety. But the safety over pursuit. And that's why, ultimately, if you go back and watch it, that's why Bland got cooked. So at the end of the day, man, y'all be missing me with that stuff, man. He's an outside corner for right now. He's not playing inside. Cowboys would be foolish to start week 1 with Elam and Booth on the outside because there's no other DB. They better go out there. They better go out there and go grab another DB. Yeah. It's not just about the money. If you ever talk to Bland, he's a very humble guy. But if I'm going to showcase my best talent, I'm going to play in a position that I've been playing at for the last 3 to 4 years if it's a contract year. If it wasn't a contract year, then I get it. And that's just like anything, but it's not about the money. It's about the overall principles of it all. That's equivalent to saying, hey, Parson, in your contract year, we'll put you inside as 3-tech. He's sitting there like, wait a minute, you know. But the Cowboys need to do 2 things. The Cowboys need to do 2 things. Get you a defensive tackle to put in to move some weight around, especially going up against the offensive line that we're going to see week 1. We only got 3 weeks to get ready, and they need to go find a legitimate another DB to put in the backfield.
Was it a hit that sparked it, or the pain in it?
It's Joe Milton.
I think one of their players hit my elbow. It's probably one of my funny bone moments. I don't know, to be honest, but I'll be good.
I mean, like their helmet pad?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2 of their players. I was in my throwing motion, so they called me as I was in my throwing motion. Yeah.
Looked like you settled in there after the first couple drives. How did you feel from the second quarter on?
Second quarter on, I felt great. I think, the guys around me did a great job as far as, just understanding the plays, understanding what we wanted, personnel-wise, scheme-wise, no matter what. I think I need to calm down faster so I can start rolling in the first quarter.
Yeah, just how excited, hyped were you for that first drive? 3 straight pass plays right off the bat.
I was very excited. I think that's what got me off of my tracks. But I feel like, if I was to go back out there again right now, I'd be able to, settle down faster and make those throws for sure.
As you look at a big picture, how do you feel about the game overall right now?
I feel like if I was grading myself, definitely a D, probably a B minus if I'm being hard on myself. I feel like I said before, the guys around me did a great job, especially from the O-line standpoint. They was blocking their butt off. And then the receivers and tight ends, they were doing their assignments at a high level. I just got to settle down early and just make all those throws.
Is that why you give it a D?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good evaluation.
Sure.
Some of y'all give them an F.
I know you're really competitive, so when you give yourself a D, I guess how easy is it to move on from that and kind of come back the next day and do well, or is it something that...
This is Joe Milton talking.
Kind of count on that?
For me, being a competitor, it's going to sit with me all night and probably in the morning. But once we pull that film up, flush it after that, and get ready for next week.
Was Dak kind of talking to you throughout different drives as the game was going on? What was he telling you?
Just be calm, take the completions. Once I took those 2 completions in the second quarter, and things started rolling. So just take completions and just let it all come to me.
You mentioned a lot. Can you speak a little more, because there are a lot of moving parts and even one injuries tonight and stuff, and it just kind of a revolving door up there. They seem to come through.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the O-line is, the whole O-line itself that played tonight, they did a great job. From Brock, from TJ Bass, from Sadiq, just all of them. I've seen awesome. But just the way that they communicated, their communication level was at a high level. The way that they operated was at a high level. They understood everything that we wanted to do in this game, and they was prepared. We all were prepared, but I feel like they was the most prepared.
The best takeaway.
That was Joe Milton after his first official game as a Dallas Cowboy. Joining me now is safety Israel Mukuamu, and I say safety, but you kind of do a little bit of everything this season. Tell me a little bit about how you just feel about being utilized going into year 5.
I'm excited, you know what I'm saying? Just waiting for that opportunity and just ready to fulfill my opportunity and being utilized anywhere I can play everything in the backhand. So I'm just excited to see where the year will take me.
I buried the lead a little bit, but you had a big play tonight. Might be, if I had a game ball, defensive big ball, I'd give it to you. But just tell me what it felt like to open the season with an interception like that tonight.
First and foremost, I just want to thank God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for just putting me in that position. And it's just a so surreal moment. I've been waiting on this moment. God knows, and it's a blessing just being able to make that play.
Now, it's still the preseason, right? But this is year 5 for you. You have a lot of guys behind you that this is brand new to them. Nerves are out there. They're just trying to make this 53-man roster. What's your kind of advice to them throughout this process?
Just going out there and playing yourself. It's a game that we played our whole lives. So just going out there and understanding, like, at the end of the day, it's just a game. Win, lose, or draw, just go out there, do your best, and everything will take care of itself.
Now, I know Brian Schottenheimer talked to us about sticking to a vanilla playbook. He doesn't want to give anything else to the other team too much. What was his message to you guys going into tonight's game, or what he wanted you guys to focus on individually?
What he wanted us to focus on is just going out there and competing. It's the preseason. Obviously, a lot of guys are fighting for roster spots, but he just told us go out there, cut it loose, have fun, and just show your energy and put great film on tape.
Now, Jordan Lewis, I know he's not on the team, but he's a name that's mentioned a lot because he's such a vital part of this team. What's it like just for the DBs in general trying to figure out this Matt Eberflus system without Jordan Lewis in there?
Definitely miss Jordan. Shout out J. Lou, man. Miss him a lot. He was one of those leaders in the room, so it's hard him not being here, but we still got other guys to lean on. Like,
man, look, I hate the way we kind of bring up older players that's no longer here that can't help us. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I get it, you know. But I think we the only team that do that, man. Like, hey, man, Jordan, he's gone. He's dead to us. He's no good to us. Bringing his name is equivalent to bringing up the 90s Cowboys. That's no good to us. I hate the fact that when Jordan Lewis left, it's been how many days? And we haven't solidified that voided area. To think that we're going to reuse pieces to equivalent to fill in what he brought to the table, that's crazy. Normally, natural, real teams would say, okay, we losing the starter, we go out there and find another starter to put into that spot. That's crazy for us to still bringing up Jordan Lewis. That's like the Bulls saying, yeah, man, boy, times were great when we had MJ. Not saying that Jordan Lewis was MJ. It's over with. Roll up your sleeves and go find another nickel corner. People are literally acting as if though Jordan Lewis was the best slot corner to ever play in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. That bothers me. If he was that great, then you go and find another DB to put in that spot. He's an enemy now, right? Like the Cowboys act like Jordan Lewis was on his team 2 days ago. He got hurt, and now we're putting somebody else in that spot, and they saying, hey, you know, boy, when we show Miss Jordan Lewis, man, he's on a whole different team. Fill that spot up and don't mention that name again. I'm tired. Yeah, mentioning, agreed. Mentioning Lewis right now is irrelevant. Yeah, like, man, come on. Let it go. We don't team. Boy, I sure miss Tony Romo. Man, I can't wait to get Tony Romo back. He's gone. Boy, I sure miss him and boy back. He's gone. Man, I miss prime time, man. Boy, Dion he's gone. Yeah, and Stink. Yeah, you're right. When he was here, they complained about him. Boy, they complained about J. Lou when he was here. Now he gone. Oh, man, I love him. Oh, my God. Man, I miss Jeff Heath. Oh, I miss Jeff Heath. Boy, we keep doing the same thing over and over. I couldn't even hear the rest of that interview because Jordan just bringing up Jordan and Lewis and watching Jordan Lewis getting cooked over there in Jacksonville. I was watching the practice and they had Travis Henry. Jordan Lewis still like, hey, I'm in Dallas still. That's all we got, man. Ledbetter Luka. That's all we got. Boy, if we still had 37 James Washington. Yeah, boy, I'm telling you. Brian Bradford. Man, I sure miss Jason Garrett. Oh, my gosh, man. Boy, boy, I sure missed those 8-8s, boy. At least we were competitive to the end. Only if we had some defense. Only if we had another wide receiver outside of Dez Bryant. Boy, I sure miss parking attendant from the 0-2. Yeah. Heath couldn't cover anything when Heath left. Hey, man, I sure miss Jeff Heath, man. Oh, my gosh.
Facing.
Man, Cowboy Nation. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm just passionate, Maybe it's the pieces kicking in and the UFOs and Oreos conversation. Let's listen to Phil Moffitt. Hopefully they don't bring up Emmett. I can hear Clarence in the background.
Had a game, Phil Moffitt did. Johnny Resendez back with Anthony Dorsett. We talked a little bit about it a few moments ago, how there was not really any starters playing in the offensive line. So given, I don't want to take anything away from Phil Moffitt's game. He actually had a very good game, but how much can you really gauge the running game after this one game with the Rams?
I mean, it's going to be tough. Like we mentioned, we had no true starters out there on the offensive line, but it does just well to see the backups can actually control the line of scrimmage like they did today. Marfa came in, ran behind his pads, and then actually when they started running the ball, Deuce Vaughn actually had a couple good runs too as well. It started off we were throwing the ball a whole lot, but to see these guys try to gain some identity up front, first team, second team, whoever it is out there, you got to step up and play.
That's the son of Tony Dorsett, Anthony Dorsett. Man, I sure miss Tony Dorsett.
For 63, 9 yards a carry. Phil Moffitt, though, 10 for 36. And I think anytime you're able to just, one cut and go, north and south, Phil Moffitt is going to be an effective player. I'm in favor, and we'll see about the health of this. I thought Phil Moffitt in pass protection will go back and look as well. Didn't do poorly. Maybe Blue, Moffitt, and then whichever one of those veterans you want out of Williams and Sanders. That's kind of what I'd like to rock with. But they're going to go with the two veterans and probably get Moffitt, I would assume, on the practice squad. But we'll see how this plays out over the course of the next two preseason games. Zach Wolchuk alongside Brian Broaddus. Let's hit the phones, 877-881-1053. And let's go to our buddy in Round Rock, Jim. What's going on, man?
Let me listen to my guy Clarence right quick. Hold on.
Replacing Cooper Rush, who won games. We know Joe can throw it a country mile. He told me he can throw it 90 yards. But can he play the quarterback position and, the accuracy? Yes, he can throw it long, but can he play the quarterback? And so I talked to Shotty. They started with 6 straight passes, right? Shotty, we're going to run the ball, but you start with 6 straight passes. That doesn't make any sense. And I talked to him during the walk-up, and they said, we want to throw it around with Joe. And clearly he didn't want to do 6 straight passes, but they had some long yardage situations. But yeah, they came into the game wanting to throw the ball, not necessarily wanting to run the ball. They want to throw the ball. They want to see Joe throw. And You saw the errant throws, the things that we see in practice. The problem is everybody on Twitter, they see the big plays, they get excited. Well, he can compete with Dak, but they don't see the misses.
Yeah.
You know, balls that go out of bounds, and you saw some of that today. I mean, he misses widely too, you know, and he can make. And so you have that even in the second half. Opened the second drive, the second half. He calmed down a little bit in the first half. They had a couple of field goal drives. In the second half, he threw the interception, deep ball. He had a check down wide open. And that's one thing that Dak and Shotty have been talking about is take the check down. You know, live to play another day. It was 2nd and 4. Why are you throwing the ball deep? You had a check down wide open, you know, and we can build on those momentum. Those are things that, to me, is an issue. You know, you need to, Dak has been injured every year for the last 3-4 years. And you need to be able to know that you have a quarterback that you can trust and can win games for you. And right now, he's not Cooper Rush. So yes, he can make a big play, but can he win games for you?
That's the offense question. Joe Milton, obviously, we'll get to see him at least 2 more times. Defense, real quick, what stood out to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly they can't stop the run, right? That's been an issue. They got run over by the Rams. But more pressing to me is at cornerback. You know, you got Siobhan Revel, you got Trevon Diggs, who are not going to be ready for the season opener. So who's going to play opposite Kyrie Elam and Deron Bland? And they gave up big, Booth gave up a big play. I mean, you saw Rochelle gave up big plays, and Rochelle is hurt now. He has a hamstring injury. So going against the Eagles, and this is just a preseason game, but we're looking for the Eagles, September 4th, who's going to cover A.J. Brown?
A lot of questions.
No doubt, man. Shoot, Cowboys, man. If we go into week 1, with Elam and Bland on the outside, okay, I can live with that. Elam and Bland on the outside, and you throw 24 inside the nickel. Maybe you rotate Zion Childress if he continue to play and ramp up. Those are band-aidable issues, right? But if somebody go down with a knee, an ankle, you know, a hangnail, you know, baby got to be born and stuff like that, it's going to be eerie. It's going to be eerie week 1. Cowboys, that's why it's so important to make sure you pay your star players so you can get that SH out the way, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? You get that out the way. I promise you, while they are – look, I'm not even mentioning Carson. No, Kalen Carson, I'm not mentioning him. I'm not bringing him up. Matter of fact, I'm so glad to see Malik Davis with 21. Maybe they snatched 21 out for Carson's and give him 41 back because Donovan Ezaraku got that number. Give Carson's 49 or something, man. Get him up out of that 21. But that's a whole nother subject. Either we going to be serious about this team or we going to just mosey around and say, hey, through osmosis and organically, Revel, Josh, Diggs, and now Rochelle going to come back and they're going to be all right. No, Lord, hell. You know, we're going to need some reinforcements. And we need it now. But if you already paid Parsons, you already can check your counts and say, okay, we can earmark money, we can forecast it here, and get this guy in, get this veteran guy in.
And so what I watch when I watch games like watch tonight, I don't really focus on the game. I just watch one-on-one battles. And very, very few times across the line, across coverage, no separation, no penetration. It's just we win very few battles one-on-one. Oh, it's great. Ezraku wreaks havoc in practice. What did he do tonight against a decent talent? I didn't see him get near the quarterback.
Sure.
And it's just it is what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's I believe Donovan Ezraku is going to be a good player, but I hear what you're saying, Adam, and there is something to be said about this team might have a lack of talent, and I think they
might not be very good.
They might not be.
That might be now. That's
top heavy. We top
right.
heavy.
When they practice against each other, it's they guys covering. The guys that you talk about, the wide receivers, they get covered. Pickens gets covered. Elam gets. Elam covers Sky. I mean, you do see good on good and again, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass and try and make you feel like this team is any better than they are. You just watch practice and you see, and then they get in the games. Sure, I think there's some. I think they're talent poor in some areas. I absolutely do, and I just kind of feel like though, as they, we'll see where this thing ends up when the guys that are injured come back. That's because right now I don't disagree with you. I think in some areas they're talent poor, and they're guys that are they've relied on some guys like a Mazy Smith to try and be a better player. Mm-hmm. He's not. They missed on that one, and then there's other ones that you could say. But I'll tell you what, there are guys like Maris Leofau on this team.
Yes,
that I know I had questions about when he got drafted. I had big questions like, man, they should have taken a running back there, But Maris Leofau has shown me it doesn't matter if it's good, bad, whatever. He is always going to find ways to make plays. I just don't think they have enough Maris Leofaus right now on the defense as backups. And I think Maris Leofau, when it comes to the base defense, he's a starter. We didn't see Damone Clark playing tonight. I was kind of thinking, I was like, well, this would be a good opportunity for Damone Clark.
And he got hurt.
But he started.
I didn't see him.
He was in the starting lineup.
Was he?
Yeah.
I did not see. Okay, this is where I missed that. Like, I was watching this.
And it might have just been a series, but he was definitely in the starting lineup.
I'm glad because he in practice has shown some things, and the scrimmage the other day against the Rams actually shown some things. So I need to go back like tomorrow, and I might have a completely different tone to where I'm at, or it might be a whole hell of a lot worse.
Yep.
But I'm not going to sit there and just wave off because it's preseason. But there are guys battling for jobs, and they were not good enough tonight. No. That part of it, for guys trying to be on this football team, they were not good enough tonight.
No, I think, especially when you look defensively, I think that you can get help at
just
corner.
one-on-one, and he's right.
Yeah.
The caller's right about that. He's right about winning one-on-one battles.
Andrew Booth, I don't think is an NFL player. I don't think he's magically all of a sudden going to click into form. Kyrie,
he's a podcaster.
I wasn't sure either. He has looked good. We didn't get to see him tonight. Will that translate? I think that's fair. We got to see him against other competition. I believe in Kyrie Elam. I do. After watching him out in practice, I liked what we saw. But
he's going against our own
really good receivers. Yeah. That's why I'm buying it. Troy Pride Jr. and Andrew Booth, you need to upgrade over players like that. And defensive tackle, it is an issue. I just don't know that there's anybody that you're going to be able to sign as a free agent right now that's going to be able to really.
Let me just get you out and tell you how to get skinny on this. Kyrie Elam is good, but he still haven't shut down CeeDee Lamb nor Pickens on a consistent basis. So when we do see Kyrie Elam doing plays and stuff, it's not on them two. It's not on them two. And I'm not beating up Kyrie. I think that he's had a great camp. But this is why we get the real evaluation when we see them go up against new ones. Now, for those who are arguing with me and said that when I played that video of the Rams practice, the joint practice, and people were saying, oh, man, that was against backups. Kyrie Elam was out there, too, and Devontae Adams. He got him, So I'm just saying, temper your expectations. And shout out to Kyrie Elam. I'm not beating him up. I think the world of him. But at the end of the day, let's not think that Kyrie Elam is prime. Come on with it, man.
Nickel. They've got to figure out the nickel. I mean, that is a must, right? That is a glaring problem to me right now.
Oh, yeah. So my question to you, Broadus, is I know you say they don't want Gilmore because he can't run, but there's guys like Asante Samuel.
We don't know his health, though, man. Mm-hmm. We don't know his health. That's the problem. And I would go after him in a heartbeat. I've talked about him a month ago, but we don't know his health. And that if you tell me he's healthy, there's going to be teams lining up for this guy. And are you willing to go and pay what you have to pay to probably get him? So, yeah, I'm all on board with adding a corner like that. I'm just telling you, Gilmore, they tell me the guy can't run. Now, watch him sign him next week because he's available.
Sure.
But Asante Samuel, yes, bring him in.
Bring him in. Yeah,
healthy?
come on, Brian. Yeah,
that's the question.
Bring him in. Yeah, he's better than both.
The question. And there's a reason all these guys
with
are
half of a neck.
There's going to be some issue, like Rasul Douglas, another corner. He was talking with a couple of other teams as recently as a week ago. Maybe
I'll bring in Rasul Douglas.
Target Gilmore. I've preached as well because there's some continuity there. I liked Gilmore more than maybe some others do. I have questions that the
Mike
Cowboys
Hilton,
would be super interested in Stephon Gilmore, but things can change. I wondered once they get into live game reps and you see these preseason games and you realize, man, can we line up against the Eagles week 1 and really be trotting X, Y, Z, name the player in there?
Yeah.
To me, the answer is no. So you've got to find somebody else that you would trust to line up and might be better for you.
This is the problem. And without Micah Parsons in the lineup right now, you're probably not going to have the pass rush you need to protect your defense. And the hope is, well, Ezraku and then Fowler and those guys could, because that's
Sam Williams.
Yeah, this is going to be about Dallas's offense carrying the day, because they're going to have to carry this defense until they get those guys back from injury, because you're just like Parcells would used to say, hey, well, you're going to go down to Home Depot and get a player there. And no, you're not. But that's the problem that you're running into right now is they're playing a really dangerous game, but their offense is going to have to carry them till they get these players back at cornerback, because right now they're just not going to be able to bring somebody in unless it's a Samuel or somebody like that. I just don't think the answer is Gilmore. Me personally, I don't.
Yeah, it could end up, I was telling you this before we got on, it might be like Cincinnati was last year, where you've just got to outscore teams to win.
There's no question.
And we don't have to do that. You can go get a Jalen, I think it's Jalen Mills, DeSoto, Texas on, even though, he's 31, 32. I think you get a veteran guy like that. Or you can go out there and get a Mike Hilton or Rasul Douglas. You don't have to go down this road, Cowboy Nation. Now, if Stephon Gilmore can't run, put him to the test. Bring him in for a cup of coffee. And AI Tisha, I know you've been away for a minute, but I need for you to break down the origin story of blowing smoke up your ASS, because I need to know what people say that. What do you mean about that? You know what I'm saying? AI, whenever you get a chance, Tisha, bring up the origins.
Blowing smoke up your ass has a surprisingly literal and weird origin. It dates back to the late 1700s when doctors in Europe, particularly in England, used tobacco smoke enemas as a medical treatment. They believed blowing smoke into a patient's rectum could revive drowning victims, stimulate breathing, or treat various ailments. The process involved a tube or bellows to literally pump smoke into the body. Medical journals of the time actually recommended it, and equipment for the procedure was even kept along riverbanks for emergencies. By the mid-1800s, medical science debunked the practice, and it faded away. Later, the phrase was used figuratively to mean giving someone insincere flattery or false praise, as in filling them with hot air, but with that colorful original image in mind.
Pause, AI!
So yeah,
Pause,
when
AI!
Blowing smoke up your ass, it started as literal 18th century medicine.
Oh my gosh! So Brian, what you said? Can you imagine in the 1700s, you're drowning and then somebody take a tube and they shove it up your ass? Let's revive them. Oh my gosh, wrong hole, So oh my gosh, boy. Oh my gosh.
Before turning into modern slang for flattery or lies. If you want, I can also give you the darkly funny reason why they thought it actually worked.
No. I don't want that. I don't want to know the rest of it. AI. Oh my gosh. So now I know the origin story of not to blow smoke up your ass, So instead of mouth-to-mouth recitation, they used to just take a tube. I can only imagine if you didn't have the tube Oh, my gosh, man. Let me kick it back to football. But at least I now know we are all knowing when Brian Broder said not to blow smoke up your ass. Oh, I know. We know the origin story now. Man, oh, my gosh, man. So, can we go get Everson Walls? Boy, I miss Everson Walls. Oh, my gosh, man. That's nasty work, man. Oh, my gosh. So now we know the origin story of that, of blowing smoke up, you know what. So now we're more educated on that aspect. That is crazy, right? Look, guys, if I'm drowning, and if you're a fella and I get it, man, you don't want to do mouth to mouth, please, whatever you do, just let me die. Don't try to blow smoke up my Don't do the 1700 ritual where you say, hey, what we got to do for law is we go grab this pipe and we're going to shove it up and we get some tobacco smoke or some kush. So it is true. Yeah, no anal puffs for me, man. Just let me die, man. Because can you imagine to that person that it worked on, they said, hey, man, how did you survive, man? You was drowning. Hey, man, Billy Bob, he done got me. Oh, my gosh, man. He done got me, and he took a tube, and he shoved it up my I can't even say it. 657-390-7391. Hey, cuz, you got to call the hotline number, 657-390. Oh, you. Hey, I feel you, man. Yeah. But all right, bro, I'm live right now, but I hit you up when I get off.
Call me when you get through.
All right, bro. Peace. Oh, Lord. All right, so let's listen to the rest of this over here.
Chance. He's got a real chance to challenge, and he made the catch. Babe, I don't think in the last 2 weeks he's dropped a single thing coming his way.
That is our What a Play of the Game, brought to you by Whataburger and the Salvation Army. Doing the most good is holding their 35-yard pass from Joe Milton. That was part of the Cowboys' first touchdown drive of the game. 2 targets, 2 catches for 42. And look, Trayshawn Holden, undrafted free agent receiver out of Oregon. Junior Adams, Cowboys wide receivers coach, knew him well. You talk about sponsors a lot. Maybe that's a sponsor for Holden, but he has been the guy that has emerged, at least at camp when we were out there and showed it tonight on the field. He's been making plays.
Yeah, him, Brooks, they've kind of shown up. Brooks has been a guy that, and this is going to come down to, do they keep 5 or 6 guys? And I've said all along, I felt like that in this, we'll see what happens with Mingo.
Hey, Texas boy, if you think you can do a better job, go live then. Shit, you go live on your channel then. Don't tell me how to do mine or ONB23. If y'all think y'all can do a better job of the live stream, won't y'all go live then? And we'll see who can do a better job. Don't tell me how to run my show.
And I'll say the same thing about Jalen Brooks as well. I only had one along the sidelines that was incomplete, but some of these guys are really, really competing well for these last couple of spots.
Well, and Flanoy could have had a much bigger night. He could have had a touchdown. He ran a good route to get open.
That
crosser over the middle.
Crosser, yeah, he could have been a guy that we could absolutely been talking about if Joe Milton would have just found a way to be a little bit more accurate.
877-881-1053, number to call, number to text, 3121, Rams over the Cowboys preseason game number 1. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning former Cowboys scout Brian Broaddus. Let's get back to the phones. We got Chris in Waco who's been waiting patiently. Chris, how are you?
Let's see what he's going to say.
What's up, gentlemen? I'm doing great. Thank y'all for taking my call, Wooly Bully. Good to hear your voice. And Brian, I just got to say real quick, I used to really have a problem with you. I really thought everything you would say just rubbed me so wrong as a Cowboy fan, but I got to give you props, man. A lot of your analysis is spot on, so I enjoy listening to you now. So my apologies for that. Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the deal. It's a 3-parter, and I know I've only got a couple of seconds here, so I'll make it quick. Number one, why are they wasting? Why waste time on Mazy? I mean, I get it; he's a first rounder, but let's cut our losses. You know, I mean, you can just see it on the sideline. I mean, they showed him on the broadcast. He's just not there, and I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but come on. We all know, and you know. And then secondly, this is an uneducated, just a 54-year-old lifelong fan. Is there a chance that La'el Collins is a starter on this offensive line before the season starts? And then finally, what the heck, man? Malik Davis, does this guy just not get a nod for how he always comes up in the preseason? I've been a fan of his for several years now. What's the story on him? Thank you guys for taking my call. God bless you, and go Cowboys.
Appreciate that. Thank you, man. I think the thing, the Mazy Smith one, we all know how this is going to play out. You know, and they might be doing Mazy a favor if they move on from him. Mazy, to me, doesn't seem like a guy that would probably go and play somewhere else. He's probably tired of football, you know, and he's been really kind of beat down, but you know, he's had to endure a lot, and he's a very emotional guy, and it's been a little bit of a problem for him. The things, you know, with Davis, you know, in the backfield and stuff like that, good for him. You know, he came in, ran hard. He has been a guy that they've in the past, previous regimes have always kind of liked him around, and they thought that maybe he's a guy that had some promise. And this one might be more about the you know, Schottenheimer having a little understanding of what kind of player he is. I mean, if this was a completely new staff in a lot of different ways, maybe Malik Davis doesn't get another shot, but he ran the ball well.
He did.
You know, and I give Phil Maffa some credit too for running the ball well. The third part of this thing was what was he talking? Oh, he was talking about La'el Collins.
Yeah, could he be a starter on the offensive line?
You know what? I think La'el Collins right now is he physically looks good. I watched the workout with my own eyes. I was happy about that. Maybe La'el Collins, we'll see what kind of, like, how he looks as a player next week against Baltimore. I would anticipate that we see more La'el Collins. They're in that ramp-up period right now.
Right.
I anticipate more La'el Collins next week against Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't think that Collins is going to have a shot to be a starter unless you have some injuries. I think they're pretty set with Guyton, Smith, Beebe, Booker, Steele. We'll see about left tackle, though. I mean, is Tyler Guyton ready week one? Nate Thomas, the pass protection I don't think was bad.
Robert Jones, get ready. You will be next on the call
queue. They came out with 6 straight passes. And I thought Milton had time to be able to serve it.
No doubt, no doubt. Robert Jones from the 646. You in the mix. You live on the Nation, brought to you by RogueShop. Robert Jones.
Whoa, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. I know that you're not the Robert Jones that played for the boys.
How are you? Everything good?
Man, everything great, man. What you got for the show today?
Listen, I just wanted to say a few things. I see everybody attacking Joe. One of the main things that I saw today, honestly, Lord, was right out the gate. I feel like the coaching staff and the play calling didn't do enough to help Joe. Maybe I'm wrong, but didn't he throw the ball about 8 times before we ran the ball once?
Yeah, 8 to open up with 8 throwing plays. He had jitters. So what coach is supposed to do is get him in rhythm first, or get him comfortable and start off with runs, or get a few run plays going before you just open it up and sling it all around with Joe. And Joe game has never been short to intermediate game. It's always been long. So I think that they should have opened it up with the run.
Well said. Even with that interception that he threw, the receiver actually had an opportunity to catch it. You know, hit him in his right shoulder a little bit, and the defender took it away. But regardless, you know, I just feel like a lot of people bashing Joe right out the gate, and I just didn't feel like we did enough to help Joe. Not to mention the defense looked trash, the play calling looked trash. You know, it's just, I don't feel like we should all jump on Joe right away. You know, I feel like give Joe some time. That's a lot of talent there. You know, he didn't look as good as we would want him to look. No, but just to come right out the gate attacking him is crazy to me.
Yeah, he didn't look impressive, and he didn't look terrible. So he's somewhere in between. It's like a steak being medium well. So I would say this with Joe's game, hopefully down the stretch, like next week, we will see a little bit more of like what he can do. Now, if it's a situation, believe it or not, I think that the Cowboys, just based off of Joe's lack of ability to just carry a game by himself all the way because of his inexperiences, what the Cowboys should do is have 3 quarterbacks, and Will Greer should be your third quarterback or your second quarterback, and just rotate Joe.
Yeah. So I'm with you with the third quarterback, not the second.
You think so?
Because Jesse Holly was talking crazy. He kind of got me in my feelings a little bit. And he was talking out of just saying crazy things about Joe. It was annoying me. Then I was listening to Voch too, and Voch said something like, if you want to evaluate the receivers, you kind of want to use Will Greer more than Joe. And I disagree. Look, the touchdown that Will Greer got, he used his legs. That wasn't a passing touchdown. Okay, that's one thing to look at. It's just Jesse Holly annoyed me too, because it's like you did nothing in the league that you talking as crazy as you talking.
Well, Rob, here's what I got. Here's what I got. This is feedback from the players. And they said they gave utmost respect for the players that was here last year. Utmost respect for Cooper Rush, right? But they were saying that what Joe brings to the table on the deeper routes on some of the plays, that is more air up under it so that they can get a chance and opportunity to make this team. Think about what you just said. If Ryan Flournoy somehow snatches that ball and catch that touchdown, he would have earned his freedom papers. It would have been, they set up everything possible to kick Jalen Brooks up out of here, right? Because you wouldn't have gotten a chance to see that play with Jalen Brooks. But what made Jalen Brooks become available is the fact that my guy Ryan Flournoy didn't catch that touchdown. Now, the other one that he was so wide open that Joe overthrew him by a mile, that was on Joe. But I truly believe that these players that said that, they get a better chance to see the fullness of what they're capable of with Joe. I do understand that. But the only problem is that Joe tonight didn't have his best night altogether too, though.
You like that play calling today? How about the play calling?
Sometimes, man, believe it or not, it is harder to call vanilla plays than there is real plays. And that's what I'm going to say with the rookie head coach play caller, right? And it could be so much thrown at Brian Schottenheimer. Can I be transparent with you, bro?
Please do. Of course.
Ultimately, this is the GM owner's decision for him to call plays. I think that it probably would be better if Clayton Adams just called the plays. So that Schottenheimer, because he got so much going on as a rookie, it's just so much thrown at him that you can see that he's wired in. He's infused with the defense. He's infused with the offense. And it probably, by him being these sound like bevies of excuses, but it's going to be probably hard for him to cut off one thing to do another. And that's where we're seeing some of these inefficiencies with penalties and stuff like that. He don't have enough time to spit and yell at these guys that's on that LOS that's supposed to be there because he got to get ready for the next play. I think that it will be better for this team and organization. I get it. I know you want the play coach, the caller of the plays, to be the head coach, Jerry, but I think that let Clayton Adams, since he's doing the install anyway, let him call the plays and let Shotty be the head coach thing, But they don't like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I actually agree with you 100%. I'm reading the chat as we talking. I see a guy named T. Foster said play calling ? If Joe start the game and you don't run the ball one time before Joe throws the ball 8, that's not an issue there. That's not play calling. That's play calling, right?
I mean, definitely. Of course, we can say with context, but regardless, Joe Milton tonight looked better under center. And when we go back, I got to get a chance to watch the game at least 3 times before I make my final judgment. That's why I say the play-by-play log, let me be raw. Let me give y'all my honest thoughts and all of this stuff just organically. But when I go back, I got a right to change my mind, because when you see it multiple times, it's like reading the word. You get this chance to say, oh, I understand why they do that now, right? But it's so hard because I watched this game on mute. I can't hear the adjustments. I can't hear whatever they're saying as far as the penalty. So I'm going giving y'all raw emotions, right? And I think the authentic version of me is always the best version. But at the end of the day, after I watch it 2 or 3 times, I can tell you exactly what 93 looked like. I can tell you exactly what 41 won on or lost on. And I can tell you exactly what was the proper reads for Joe to go through, his progressions. And now what the good thing is, by us losing this week, you get what? You get what I'm about to say, bro? Is all of that honeymoon stuff about Shotty being this and that, they're thrown out the window now, all right? These look, and I know Clarence, I'm gonna text him like, hey, keep that knife, keep poking him, because I don't want us to continue to be soft and giving him layups. I want us to continue to make sure that when he's coaching, he need to be ready and prepared. And he's gonna get the degrees, because Colin Cowherd Monday on his show, he's gonna get the last laugh Monday, and it's gonna be channels like me and the other content creators to continue to fight for Shotty. But at the end of the day, Shotty gonna get his, because Colin Cowherd gonna be he gonna take every negative thing that every negative thing that Brian did, and he's gonna maximize it, and it's gonna be legions of Cowboy haters, trolls, and other teams bandwagoning to jump on to bury the Cowboys, and it's going to be only a slither of anything positive this weekend.
Did you like Maffa tonight? What you thought about Maffa?
I like Maffa, especially knowing that all of the offensive linemen were backups, every single guy. My only thing is what I didn't like, and I know offensive line is the only group that all 5 guys must be on the same page, but the only thing I didn't like was the simple strength that you didn't get Tyler Booker no reps.
No reps, right?
Yeah, you didn't give him no reps, so, I mean, he better get some reps next week.
Right. And next week,
what do we got to that?
Better balance, try to start a running, let Joe hand the ball off a little earlier. Don't let him throw right out the gate 8 times in a row before you call one running play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The defense looks shaky as hell, too. Lord, I ain't lying. The defense is concerning. It's very concerning. I know they got like backups and all that, but they look terrible.
They did. They did in certain ways.
Typical Cowboys, we can't stop the run. We didn't do too well in the pass neither.
Yeah. We need defensive tackles and cornerbacks. I'm okay with what the offense did, but I still need my defensive tackles and my cornerbacks in this game for next week.
Yo, Lord, when you at those social events with make sure you tell your man Jesse Holly to take it easy sometimes, because he be talking too crazy. Make sure you remind him, like, bro, you did nothing. Okay? You did nothing for us.
Man, right, no doubt, man. If I can get a word in on it, Jesse my guy, but it is for what it is. I think that Jesse does a great job of going against the grain with y'all. Yes, it did. And sometimes he does it out of fun. But shout out to you, Robert. Thank you for calling in, fam.
All right, Lord. We talk to you later, man. Take care.
No doubt, man. Robert Jones. Yeah.
Mukuamu getting that reception, first turnover of the preseason for that Cowboys defense. That was our stop of the game as the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. WinStar delivers thrills worthy of America's team. With over 10,000 of your favorite electronic games, the 2-story WinStar Spawn Cascades, their luxury pool complex. WinStar is a world of wow. Please game responsibly. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus, 31-21. Rams over the Cowboys here on the official post-game show of your Dallas Cowboys. Only 2-hour posts in the preseason, so we're taking you to the top of the hour. We'll be back to our normal 3-hour post once the regular season starts. But let's hear from Joe Milton, your Cowboys starting quarterback tonight.
Speaking of Joe, let's listen to him.
Action with the Cowboys.
Oh, I feel good. Just get a little treatment in the morning. I'll be all right.
You grabbed your helmet and it looks like you wanted to go home here.
Yeah.
You felt like if it weren't preseason or
for sure. Yeah, that's just the competitive nature that I have. Just finish out what I started.
Was it a hit that sparked it, or the pain in it, or what sparked the pain in it?
I think one of their players hit my elbow. It was probably one of my funny bone moments. I don't know, to be honest, but I'll be good.
I mean, like the helmet?
Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah, it was two.
That funny bone, something crazy, man.
I was in my throwing motion, so they called me as I was in my throwing motion.
That funny bone, boy.
Looked like you settled in there after the first couple drives. How did you feel from the second quarter on?
Second quarter on, I felt great. I think, the guys around me did a great job as far as, just understanding the plays, understanding what we wanted, personnel-wise, scheme-wise, no matter what. I think I need to calm down faster so I can start rolling in the first quarter.
Yeah, just how excited, hyped were you for that first drive? The 3 straight pass plays.
Yeah, I was very excited. I think that's what got me off my tracks. But I feel like, if I was to go back out there again right now, I'll be able to, settle down faster and make those throws for sure.
As you look kind of big picture, how do you feel about the game overall?
I feel like if I was grading myself, definitely a D. Probably a D minus if I'm being hard on myself. I feel like I said before, the guys around me did a great job, especially from the O-line standpoint. They was blocking their butt off. And then the receivers and tight ends, they was doing their assignments at a high level. I just got to settle down early and just make all those throws.
That was quarterback Joe Milton tonight, and he did mention that funny bone afterward the game per Todd Archer of ESPN. Brian Schottenheimer said that Joe Milton bruised his elbow. They're going to get more tests, but they think Milton's going to be okay. Their offensive lineman, Sadiq Charles, suffered a hyperextended knee that knocked him out of the game, and they're going to also get another look at that. Cowboys will be off tomorrow, so they don't return for a full practice until they'll be off Sunday as well. They'll have more testing Sunday, so Tuesday they'll get another full practice, and then we'll get more info on Sadiq Charles at that time. But all in all, Joe Milton tonight, 17 of 29, 143, the touchdown, the pick. He mentioned it. He needs to start the game.
He could have made some more plays.
He could have.
That his night could have been completely different. I don't think Brian Schottenheimer necessarily helped him the first couple series of the game. But, he could have settled him into some stuff and then, made some throws a little easier for him. But he missed some big plays, missed some guys that got open. And give these receivers some credit for, when they were able to get separation. The ball needs to be on them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss the opportunity to make big plays, and especially when Joe Milton is trying to, prove to this coaching staff that everybody was excited about him in training camp, and everybody still is. But man, you just cannot go into games, when guys get open and missing those types of throws.
No, and then that fourth down. Dive for extend the ball.
I just don't.
What are we doing?
To me, Joe Milton, we've seen him avoid and all that. Yeah, he got the corner. Just dive at the pylon, dive for out of bounds. And people are probably saying, well, Dan Broadus, he'd probably hurt his shoulder or something diving in the ground or whatever. But, we had a caller earlier talk about wanting to see the starters play a little bit.
I agree with that.
I totally agree with that. I you know what? I used to be the biggest scaredy cat when it came to preseason football when there were 4 games. And now that there are 3, I've changed my attitude about that. With 4 preseason games, you could kind of have a game where you could play what that third game could be. But the fact that the third game now turns into nobody playing, that to me is that's hard because and then you go into the season and then we're like week 4 and we're like, what is wrong with this Cowboys offense? And they're like, well, they never work, they never get any, they never get any work.
Look, and it's a guy that you spent a lot of time with, and I don't think it's a hot take. To me, the best coach in the NFL right now is Andy Reid. Andy Reid's teams, and it doesn't, even when he didn't have a Pat Mahomes, he can have Alex Smith, Donovan McNabb, Nick Foles, you name the quarterback, he's winning 10 games a year. Mm-hmm. And he plays his guys in the preseason, and he plays them a lot.
I can understand with Dak and the hand, the leg and all that, but he's looked good at camp. And there's been times where he has scrambled, he's run, he's showed mobility and all that. And if he was struggling at those, if he was struggling at practice with mobility and setting up in the pocket and moving around I would say, okay, well, let's think about this. But I think all these guys need at least a series or 2. Maybe things are a little bit different if you go out and you score or you get a field goal or whatever. You get a touchdown, get a field goal on the first drive, and then now you allow Joe Milton to come in, and maybe it gives everybody a little bit of a different type of a vibe going through, how the game would have started, because I couldn't imagine a worse start. It
was bad
for them.
I mean, defensively, you get shredded.
Yeah.
Offense, 3 and out, 3 and out.
I could not imagine.
It was a rough start.
Yeah, it really was.
All right, let's get back to the phones. We got Juan, who's been waiting for a while in Bowling Green. Juan, what's going on? You're on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys.
How you doing, fellas?
Good.
It's great to listen to you guys. I've been a Cowboys fan since Danny White and Tony Dorsett days.
Wow.
These days, at least this game tonight was difficult to watch. To be honest with you, it's difficult to take in, knowing that this roster seems to be top heavy. I mean, if the ones go down, these guys that perform tonight, what should we and can we expect from them?
Not very much right now.
Which leads me to the question of, why is it that we can't play some of our starters, some of our ones out there, in particular those rookies? I mean, holding out Tyler Booker for me seems a little bit timid.
Yeah, I agree.
From either a first-time coach to either a front office impact, I don't know. It just seems like we're too scared to be good, and that showed itself tonight. It's great to talk to you guys. I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
I appreciate it.
It's funny for a coach that's trying to talk about toughness and attitude and be physical and all that. Sure don't play like that, do they?
No,
they sure don't. I mean, and that's maybe it's going to take some time to get his type of players, but yeah, not playing Booker tonight. That helps Joe Milton. How do you evaluate Joe Milton if you don't give him the tools to be able to, put, if you want to put, I thought that BB would play a series. I thought Booker would play a series.
I thought everybody except maybe Tyler Smith would.
Yeah, Tyler Smith has got the knee where he's dealing with the soreness in it. I get that, but if you throw those guys out there for a series, it allows maybe Joe Milton to get off to a little bit better start. Maybe you get a little bit better running, and maybe it doesn't put the defense in the terrible position that they were. But they didn't do anything worth a damn either. But I just can't. I said it earlier. 3 preseason games, I think you need to play them. You play 4 preseason games, when you play the Hall of Fame game, which would give you the 5th game. Then you could think about not playing guys at certain spots.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they got 2 more left. Do any play against the Ravens or the Falcons? I don't think Dak's playing, and I'm with you. I'd still put him out there and at least a series or 2. I'm not scared. Injuries can happen. They happen all the time. If this is football.
Yeah, to quote the great Tom Moore, remember what he said about when Peyton Manning, they said, well, what do you do if Peyton Manning gets hurt? He says, we don't work on effed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's, it is what it is. But, this is a long year and all that. And these coaches, some of them, like you said, Andy Reid, there's others that play their starters and they seem to benefit out of it a little bit. I'm to the point now where I'd like to benefit from it just because of the 3 preseason games, because the 3rd preseason game, it's all backup dudes. It's all guys that are likely going to get cut. It's not any of your starters. And so with that, you're just trying to get through 2 games. If you play them the first game, great. Play them the second game, that's fine too. But I don't think this guy, he talks about toughness and all that. I really don't know it. Talks about running the football. I threw it 6 straight times.
All right, Tisha, I need to do some more research on Andy Reid, because comparing Andy Reid to, Shadi is wild, because Andy Reid, it took some growing pains. And Tisha, can you let me know what Andy Reid did his first year as a head coach? What year was it, and what was his record? Can you get that information for me? Let the AI.
Andy Reid's first year as a head coach was in 1999 with the Philadelphia Eagles. 1999. Record 5-11. That was a rebuilding season. The Eagles had gone 3-13 the year before. So even though 5-11 wasn't great, it was a step forward.
Okay. All right. So it just takes time, man. And we don't have that. We want this coaching staff to be a veteran coach day one, and it takes time, y'all. I don't know what would be the best and the proper approach, but he's a long way from being one of these coaches to win it all his first year and all of this stuff. It's going to take some time. And that's one of the things that we can all argue that we don't have a lot of, because we want to win now. And I think that if we can continue to get things going the best way the first year, then we can see. AI, can you, it is going to be AI centrics in this one. AI Tisha, can you look up how long it takes for a head coach to become good and give me your philosophy on when players to play in the preseason, if possible? And let's see what we can do from there.
How long it takes for a head coach to become good really depends on a mix of roster talent, front office alignment, and the coach's ability to adapt. General timeline patterns in the NFL. Immediate success, year one. Rare, but it happens when a coach inherits a talented roster, e.g. George Seifert, with the 49ers in 1989, Sean McVay with the Rams in 2017. 2 to 3 years, the most common window for a coach to establish a winning culture. This is when they've implemented their system, had at least one draft class, and built a staff that fits their philosophy, e.g. Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, Doug Peterson. 4+ years. If a coach still isn't producing by year 4, it's usually a sign they won't turn it around unless something drastic changes. NFL owners rarely give that much time anymore. My take on playing starters in the preseason. Pros of playing starters at least a little. Game speed reps. Practice can't fully replicate live tackling, crowd noise, or real pass rush intensity. Timing and chemistry. Especially important for new coordinators, rookie quarterbacks, or rebuilt offensive lines. Mental readiness helps starters shake off rust and enter week 1 sharper. Cons of playing starters. Injury risk. The biggest fear, losing a key player in a meaningless game, can derail a season before it starts. Long season ahead. With 17 games plus possible playoffs, the extra wear and tear can add up. Middle ground approach, what I prefer. Give starters a series or two in preseason week 2 or 3 to get live game speed, then pull them. Use joint practices heavily. They're more controlled but still simulate game situations. Situational reps, red zone, third down, 2-minute drill, in preseason, are more valuable than just running vanilla plays. Bottom line, never playing starters in preseason can leave a team looking rusty in week 1, but overexposing them is risky. The sweet spot is minimal but meaningful reps.
Hey, she talked about the sweet spots, man. That's compiled with AI and all of the research and information that they have. Not to say that they are more right than we are, but something about them AIs, man. If I had to take a test today, especially in math or anything, I'm using AI shit. But yeah.
5. Pretty cool there from Malik Davis. 7 carries, 63 yards, average 9 a carry, long of 16, and he's been a Dallas Cowboy for less than 48 hours after they re-signed him back off the street with injuries. Huh? Yep, fresh legs. Fresh legs there, Brian.
No, he looked good running the football, and he usually does. He's got that quickness. He's got a little power. He's got a little zip to him. So, and like I said, I'd like to have I wish everybody had as much zip, and I'd say Phil Moffitt was okay, and Deuce Vaughn making people miss.
Yeah,
Deuce Vaughn had a nice run that was called back because of a lining up again offsides or something like that.
Yeah, that might have been one of the Richards penalties.
I don't know, but anyway, Deuce Vaughn had a couple of carries for 11 yards, 5.5 per carry. It was nice to see him coming back from injury and having an opportunity.
Yeah, I know we had a call earlier, like Malik Davis. Some of these guys, I think they play well in the preseason.
Yeah.
Now Malik Davis, in defense of him, he hasn't really gotten the opportunity to prove, like, okay, can he not play in the regular season? But I think that for Malik Davis, awesome to get him out there and have a good game tonight. I don't know that he'll be a contributor once the season starts, but we'll see what happens with the health. I mean, Miles Sanders has been dealing with an injury. No Javonte Williams, obviously. Blue has the bone bruise right now. But a couple other players. We talked about the wide receivers. I thought Maris Leofau was really good.
Yeah.
Really was the only defensive player that looked like he belonged in the first couple of series.
He is one of these guys that, I said it earlier, and I always repeat myself. He's one of these guys that I really question, like, gosh, they could have done something better there. They could have done something different. They could have, He is, every time that he is put in a situation where he could play, he's shown that he is more than capable of handling. He's got great awareness. He's got vision. He finishes the pressure. They weren't having no pressure. What did he do? He came blitzing through there one time, tackle for loss he made. There's just a lot of positive things about him as a football player.
And then we've talked a lot about Trayshawn Holden, who led the team in receiving, the 2 catches that he got. Our buddy Joseph Hoyt with the Morning News, Brian Schottenheimer said the depth chart will change after this preseason game. One example, he said, Trayshawn Holden will be moving up. He said he's been getting noticed with consistent play. I love to hear that.
That's where I feel like that, to me, there's 3 guys, Turpin being the third, and I'm not putting him like, okay, this is 11 personnel.
Yeah, but he also got paid. They're not moving on from Turpin. He's got his role within the offense.
No, I'm just saying he's the number 3 guy for me, and now everybody else needs to fight for a spot. That's how I would look at that.
Yeah, I don't think any of those guys should be guaranteed a spot.
Not at all.
I'm with you 100% on that.
Not at all.
All right, let's try and rip through some of these phones before we say goodbye for tonight, and we'll be back, of course, next Saturday. Cowboys back at home against the Baltimore Ravens. It'll be the same time with postgame rolling to 11 p.m. Central. Let's go out to Prosper. Austin Taylor, you've been waiting a while. Appreciate your patience. How are you doing? Welcome in to the official postgame show of the Cowboys.
So I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking, guys, and thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for all the valuable information. I actually have my daughter would like to ask you guys a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
Hi, Woolchuck and Broadus. My name's Tessa, and I have a question about the Dallas Cowboys' strength and conditioning in our defense, because our defense looks really tired and exhausted after every single play.
Appreciate the call. Thank you.
Yeah. I tell you what, the back-to-back series where you're running about 30-something plays.
I think you're right. I think the defense got winded there, but that's not going to help.
It's a very, very good question, because there's some thoughts about this is a smaller defense. It's a lighter defense. It's built better to play, to try and rush the passer. And, right now, though, they just don't have any big bodies up front. And I don't think I think the biggest issue that they're having right now, and Coach mentioned this, and my source mentioned this too, looking forward to what they want to see, is pad level. If you're going to be small and quick, you have to stay down, and you have to attack that way. If you get tall and you don't play with knee bend, they're going to get these bigger blockers. They get under you, and then they move.
Good conversation here. Size matter, man. And there's a reason why, even if these guys, I've seen them, they try to keep pad levels low. But if I'm 330 and you 295, and I can still low man win, but if I'm still strong enough to lift you up and slide you back, that's what I've seen with Toya, with number 93 and 58. I think the Cowboys invented the first game of the Cowboys on the D-line playing with skates. Now, granted, when the starters get out there, like Osa, who's still a smaller guy, Solomon Thomas, who's still a smaller guy, maybe we can see some penetration. But I'm telling y'all right now, can somebody put in the chat the average size of the Eagles' offensive line? Can somebody put that down in the chat? What's the average size of the Eagles' offensive line? And let me know what they're going to do with Saquon and Will Shipley, if he's going to be running to, is that they're going to run right at you. We got the phone lines open, and the phone lines are open and brought to you by RogueShop. call on in, and that's 657-390-7391. We would take care of the rest of this show of being a post-game call-in show, and let me know how you guys feel about anything and everything about this team, what we need to expect as far as going out there and grabbing a guy, whether it's a trade acquisition. It's a wait and see for the average size is 344, 320 for the Eagles. I feel y'all, man. 6'6", 330. So we had to get some good push, man, from our D-line. And they run the ball to open up the pass. Let me say this again. They run the ball to open up the pass. So we're going to have to be equipped and ready for that, Cowboy Nation. 657-390-7391 is the hotline for your mind. But right now it's the cold line for your mind. What everybody sleep is 10:52. It's 10:52 is what I do. Is what we do.
Bartend! What is your profession?
Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thorough my way. On
5,
this side. Keep it super thorough
4,
my way. On this
3,
side. Call
2.
my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thorough my way. On this side. Keep it super thorough my way. On this side. Mobbing with my brothers, there's no question, keep it real.
Keep it real, baby.
Coasting away in the hidden hills. In the popping straps of blue faces, not the pills. Heard you calling bluffs, I show and prove it is for real. Son of God, not a son of Sam. Keep it off the books and keep it coming in.
Come on.
It's the old whip, see what I'm coming in. The inside caramel just like 100 grand. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. You move funny.
Come on with it, baby.
Had some more friends like my brothers, I can't trust it all. Same ones in your corner, wanna see you fall. Now I only need a hand to count the ones who ball with me. Down the
757, you're live on the Nation. Talk to me.
Yeah, what's up?
Not much, man. What you got for the show?
Hey, man.
What up?
Yeah, man. I was trying to figure out which one text you can. If is there any one checks out there that we can pick up? Because that middle looks like they're getting pushed back.
If they on the streets right now, it could be more of the same. If you really want a dominant one tech at this point from the 757, I recommend you to go out there and make a trade acquisition. That's what I recommend. He lost connection. But I got from the 202 Big Amish, you live on the Nation, man. Talk to me.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them, man? Come on with it.
Hey, we can't expect much. not with people not playing. Everybody should play, as you said, even for one series, and it's symbolic. To me, it's symbolic. Dak Prescott should have played, even for, like what you said, one series. But Dak Prescott should have played because. You can't if the plan is to sit him back and just unleash him during the Eagles game.
Yeah,
I think it is a disservice for not only fans, but for the team and for Dak, because let's say he does poorly in that game, which I don't think, but let's say he does poorly. The excuse is going to be, oh well, he didn't have the preseason to play. But once that excuse kicks in, I mean, it just sets the tone the wrong way for the year.
Yeah.
Right. Plus, before we even get to that, if we don't get a dominant DT, and if we don't shore up that cornerback situation with either Gilmore or somebody else, then all this is for naught. Because without those pieces on that defense, the Eagles are going to feast on our defense. Now it's a divisional rivalry, and you never know what happens. But when you look at it on paper, it's screaming at us.
Right.
That offensive line of the Eagles are going to run all over us. What do you think?
I mean, you're right on the point. On the money with that. Our guys are falling and dropping out like flies, right? And that's part of the game. Injuries, part of the game. And just like riding bikes, man, when I was growing up. All of my brothers, we fell off the bike. That's part of the game, right? We had to learn them strawberries on our arms and legs necessary, right? It's part of the game, and you can't be there. There's always. I'll never forget. I ain't gonna say the name, but there was a neighbor we used to have growing up, and the mama was very protective, right? And she never wanted her son to ride the bikes outside without supervision. He couldn't ride and go down the street where we rode the bikes all down the street. Now, growing up, he was always soft, So he no longer identified himself as a man. He identified himself as a girl or a woman. That's just how it is. And I'm not beating up anybody who identified himself differently, but I can tell by him being raised just by that particular moment. Sometimes you got to figure out ways to toughen up a little bit. And that's where we are at with the Cowboys. We don't want our players to get hurt. We want the helmets on, the knee pads. We want them to be supervised when they're riding bikes and stuff. No, let that kid bump his head. Let him be aggressive. Let him get out there, fall off the bike a few times, and get back on it. And you toughen up. That's what it is.
No, you're right. The comfort level. You can't be comfortable. That's part of sports. I mean, that if you want to win, you could play. Look, you could play comfortable. We know that. We've seen it. We've seen what that looks like.
Yeah.
That doesn't lead to success.
Facts.
So they either got to change that, that chemistry, maybe that culture. I don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be a bumpy season. And if we don't get those missing parts, we know what kind of season we're going to end up with.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you so much for calling in. What else you got for me before I let you go?
No, that's all, man. Let someone else jump in.
No
doubt.
No doubt.
It's been a while since we chatted.
But let me hear you say it.
How about them Cowboys?
Yo, this is my guy, Big Amish. True story, though, by the way. True story, man. I'm telling you. True story. Right here to the man. T. Foster said, hey, stop it, Lord, man. Come on, man. I'm telling y'all, man. In Broadmoor, I ain't going to say his name, but I grew up in Broadmoor, man. Boy, down there in Mississippi, boy. Boy, I keep naming the neighborhood, boy. People going to know exactly who I'm talking about. Because Natchez is big, but it's small. Natchez is small and super small. Everybody know each other by their first and last name. But, man, y'all know I'm telling the truth. Man, let them play outside, man. Drink water from the water hose a little bit. Let it run first, though. Let the little spiders and the bugs and the grasshoppers. Every now and then you get a grasshopper. That's protein. Yeah. So what I'm saying is we too soft, man. We hold these kids. We playing around with kids' gloves, man. Take them gloves off, man, and let these guys be, man. Put them out there because at the end of the day, I don't want to hear that excuse. Week 1, hey, a little rust factor. Get us ready around week 3, week 4. No. 970, you're live on the Nation, man. Talk to me.
Hey, Law, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Turn me down in the background.
Yeah, I'm turning you down right now. Hey, I got something to say real quick.
Go ahead.
Hey, I think we should play our starters next week because it's against the Ravens. They play a type of defense that Philadelphia plays, don't they?
Similar. They gonna play that style of defense. Yeah.
I think we should play our starters in first quarter. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think that if they don't want to give these guys a quarter, let's get 2 or 3 series. Well, 3 series would probably equal a quarter for them. Give them 2 series to get these things going so that they can know what live ammunition look like, so that they can hit, knocked around, get back up again, put some Mississippi mud on it, and get things going.
What's that going to show us, though, by that? Do you think we can learn a lot in them couple of series or not?
No. No, you're not going to learn extremely a lot, but nervousness, and not saying that these players are not nervous, but getting hit is a real thing. Lamb haven't gotten hit yet. Pickens haven't gotten hit yet. Yeah.
So we play in the second one, but not the third series, not the third game, correct?
I think that you play your starters today. Like, you play your starters today, and if anything happens, you know you got 2 or 3 weeks for them to get back, right? But you should have played your starters today that you know for sure gonna make the team, right? That they under contract of making this team. And then you play your maybes and your what ifs these next 2 weeks. Because you're gonna have to come up with a strategy, and that's what I asked John on the Cowboys Collective. Shout out to Cowboys Collective. I said that, do you think that preseason 1 game is the dress rehearsal? And because you're seeing a lot of starters, like starters playing this week. And I guarantee you probably will not see Burrows or Pat Mahomes week 2 and week 3 because they acting as if though this is the week to play your starters just to make sure you got everything good. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, but the Rams didn't play their starters either, do they?
They didn't play none of their starters, I don't believe. But Blake Corum can be arguable. No, because Kyrie, what's his name? Kyrie Williams? Yeah. Puka Nacua. They played a third-string quarterback.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really don't, if we ain't doing very good, I guess, if we'll probably end up finishing, maybe if we're lucky, if our season goes to shit, maybe we can land in between the top 5 picks or within the top 10. And if we get a number 8 between 10 and 1, is there enough players in college that's coming out this year? It's going to be coming out that it would be we could probably get a good player within the top 10. Man, there's going to be enough good players to pick through in the top 10?
No, man. Believe it or not, as bad as this game looked, I don't think that we're going to win only 5 or 6 games. I see us still winning more than 5 or 6 games.
What's giving you hope on that? I mean, what are you counting on?
I'm counting on the simple fact that when you have 4, if he stay healthy, he's going to win you a minimum of 9 games. A minimum of 9 games. And that's what he did throughout his career. So,
but you know who we're playing, though, right? You know what our schedule is like this time, though.
Right, but here's my thought on this, Sonny.
Yeah.
Every year, if you go back and you watch the football, like, analysts, they say every year this is a horrible schedule for the Cowboys. I have yet to hear not one year they say, hey, man, this schedule is easy. Now, what they do is they say at the start of the year, this is a horrible schedule. It's going to be tough for the Cowboys. And then around November, they discount and say, well, it was a cupcake schedule. Every year they've been doing it since I've been doing this content creation, that we have a tough schedule. I never heard anyone say, hey, man, this is an easy schedule for the Cowboys. Every year since I've been doing content.
Know that this is kind of a tough schedule, though. If you look at it, it's kind of tough.
Name me the year we had an easy schedule.
Well, a couple of years ago, didn't we?
Who played?
We get everybody in our division. That's 4 wins there, and we got Carolina, and we played some other teams we should have won, like Jacksonville. That year where me and you were arguing about when you picked the Rams to beat us, I said no.
Yeah, that was a tough schedule. That was a tough schedule.
Yeah, I think we could have played better that year, but again, there were some players who didn't play as good. There was a lot of winnable games.
Every year we played the toughest schedule. Every year, for what it's worth, when the quarterback is healthy, we ended up winning more games than we should. Right?
That's all I'm getting. Dak play healthy.
Yeah, Yeah, no doubt,
That's
man.
what you're counting on. Then I agree.
Yeah, that's what we banking on, man. We banking on health. Last year, if the quarterback was healthy.
Say he gets hurt by by Thanksgiving again. What do you say then?
If he get hurt by that time frame, the Cowboys need to be on the phone and picking up the phone and calling a veteran quarterback or trading for one. Just
like
for what it is. I wouldn't know.
Trade, right?
I wouldn't know.
Would it be worth then if Michael Parsons ain't signed by then? Let's just say if they signed, but they put him on a franchise, on one.
No, he's still under contract now.
Him for a number 1 pick to get a good quarterback.
They wouldn't do that. The Cowboys wouldn't do that, and Parsons not going to hold out. He wants the money, so.
I realize that, but you don't think the Cowboys would do that for a good quarterback?
They would never do that.
You would though, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't do it either. Trade mid-season for a quarterback, and when you're talking about
for a number 1 pick.
For a number 1 pick, we don't know. We wouldn't know what the Cowboys would not do that ultimately because they look at draft capital a certain way, and then they look at the other teams of who we willing to give up those resources for that. Keep in mind, the Cowboys talk too much, they telegraph things too much, and they leave too much exposure of the negative connotations of players for anybody to do that. Keep in mind, the Cowboys, when they did the what's that guy's name? The Herschel Walker trade, right?
Yeah.
That was cool. That was cool. But don't you know teams tend to not trade with the Cowboys anymore because they don't want to get Herschel Walker, So in the last 30 years, we can go through the trades, and it's hard to find out a trade that we did that we won. We normally don't win on the trades. We normally don't. And I'm not beating up the Cowboys, but these are just facts, So the Cowboys normally don't do that, unfortunately.
Now is it true that we can hire that it doesn't go against the cap? You can hire the best coaches you want. You pay the coaches.
There's no salary.
Does that count? Does that count against your cap? The coaches.
No, the salary cap doesn't count towards any of the player personnel.
So we could hire Andy Reid and whoever then, right?
Well, Andy Reid is under
whoever.
According to CBA rules, you can trade for Andy Reid, but you can't hire him because he's under contract. There'll be tampering.
No, I mean you could offer him enough money. Jerry Jones has enough money. He can hire the best.
I mean, he can hire the best, but due to NFL rulings, Andy Reid is considered under contract, and you can't just open the negotiation with him because that'd be considered tampering. But you can reach out to the general. Technically, you can reach out to Kansas City and request a trade for Andy Reid, and that's been done, I think, 3 or 4 times in the National Football League.
Do you think that dot caller who played for Detroit? Do you think we should have grabbed him or no?
Who?
The guy who was calling plays for Detroit, the hot play caller, the new guy that went to where did he go to?
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, you think he's a hot commodity?
We don't know. They've been reports that he's been struggling. Yeah, it's an unknown, man. Anytime you have a rookie head coach, man, you can. Like the AI said, it's hard to find a good rookie head coach.
So during the off season, we had no chance of getting a top 5 good coach then, or no?
I mean, you had opportunities to grab a coach that once won a Super Bowl that demands respect.
Who was a good coach we could have hired then in the beginning?
Oh man, Bill Belichick, but it'll still be more of the against the grain with Jerry. Mike Vrabel. You could have hired a disciplinarian like him. I don't know, basically, what the Cowboys' direction for his coach.
Belichick was, I think he was kind of burned out, wasn't he?
Well,
I mean, he didn't do too good after Brady left and all that,
Yeah, but he took Matt Ryan to the playoffs, though. So
yeah. So you think we should have hired him to at least give him a shot?
No, but I think that the Cowboys is double layered because you still got Coach Jerry. Jerry Jones is the de facto coach here. You know, it's his decision on a lot of things, man.
That's where the problem lays.
Always, bro. Always.
Yeah, that's why we don't have a top-notch nose tackle and certain other players.
It's called principles, man. It's hard to work around that because.
So without that Herschel Walker trade, the Cowboys would have never got what they got then. Possibly.
Because it's always what happens after the trade. You know, how you talk about things and how people view things. And nobody wanted to get Herschel Walker. You know what I'm saying?
And I think we would have won 4 straight Super Bowls a year that if we would have kept Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones would have stayed. I think with the team we had, I think we would have won the 92, the 93, the 94, and the 95 seasons.
Man, we had the first beginnings of what the Patriots run was. Could have been us. It could have been us. You know.
We could have had we could have been holding the record right now, probably 4 or 5 in a row.
Probably so. Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, if Jerry Jones would have stayed out of the way and just left Jimmy Johnson in there, because we had Dion already, we had a pretty good team already going.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we had a lot of good things going, man.
Then he got rid of Jimmy Johnson. Then I think we kind of fell off that year.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second year, the coach, what's his name, came and we won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And after that, we haven't won one since then.
No doubt. And
is that correct?
In closing, though, Sonny, believe it or not, with Jimmy Johnson, there would have been no need to go get Dion. To be fair.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, Dion, he was I'm glad we got to watch him.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these young people never get to see some of them good old players. You know, some of the players back then.
Yeah.
There was some really good games.
You ain't lying, man. But what you got for it? Let me hear you say it before I let you go, Sonny.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's get it, man. That's Sonny, man, my guy, man, from the 970. I think talking to Sonny, he's been a fan of this team since 1961, if I'm not mistaken, or 62. So he's a older guy, man, and I really appreciate him for calling in, and I respect his time here, you know. But believe it or not, man, I feel y'all, man. Maybe I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way on my delivery. I see TA Cowboy said that I'm panicking as well. I'm not panicking because at the end of the day, I got to watch this game 3 times. I got to go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, and we're going to go over most of this stuff tonight, and hopefully by Tuesday of next week, we have the Cowboys Collective, and we have the all 22 of most of these tapes, and we'll be able to give and decipher a lot of things. But what I'm telling y'all, regardless, it may sound like panicking, but there's no one on this planet that can tell me otherwise that Booth is a good deal heading into week 1. My job is to tell y'all the building is on fire. Run away. Let the people with the fire hose, water hose, to take the fire and the smoke away. Right? I'm trying to get y'all out of the burning building. I'm not trying to bring y'all in the burning building. And I got to tell y'all from my evaluation, and I could be wrong. Look, I put some fire on there. My job is to blow that out and let y'all know that these are the possibilities of the outcome. If we don't fix defensive tackle, these are the possibilities of the outcome. If we don't fix DB room, these are the possibilities. And see that fire guy back up there? These are the possibilities. If we don't play our starters, that week 1, that we will not be able to defeat the team that's coming off of a Super Bowl. Remember, the odds are against us. It's a home game for them. They rolling out of their beds. They're going to be ready. It's a banner celebration for them. We can't walk in there and expect to go and take a knife to a gunfight and expect it to win. Now, can you win with that knife Yes, but it's harder. That's all I'm saying. Yes, Short Dog said we miss J. Lou. I get you, man. I get you. We miss J. Lou. We miss Dion. We miss Dez Bryant. I really miss my homie, even though you're gone away. Oh, I miss the 90s, man. I miss the early 2000s. So it's no time to panic, but it's time for me to tell y'all, hey, this is the weather report, But Sonny was our last caller, and I appreciate y'all. I know it's late. I know it's preseason. I know some people wanted to win this game so they can go to the barbershops and go into the hallways and the byways and tell everybody, man, that we them boys, man. We them boys, man. But it's preseason 1. It's preseason 1. The good thing about a loss is that you watch the tape even more. The great thing about a loss
Goodbye.
is that if we continue to put those pressure points on the Joneses and we keep driving home, defensive tackle. We need defensive tackle. Our voice will matter to a certain degree. Now, is it enough to overturn the mindset of the Joneses? It may not. Y'all got to understand that this guy was willing to fire a coach based off of feelings after winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Nobody do that, but the Joneses do. Right? So I got to tell y'all that. I got to bring those things up. And I got to keep it real, keep it funky with y'all. No matter what we do or what we say, they tend to not listen. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. I'm old enough to remember banging the table saying pay Dak Prescott now when he was $25 million APY. They didn't pay that brother until he was 40. Was it 40 million APY? Started off at 25. The same thing with CeeDee Lamb. When it was time to pay CeeDee Lamb openly, 27 to 28 million. They ended up paying CeeDee Lamb 35, 36, whatever you get. Lo and behold, Parsons came to the table and said, hey, I'm not seeking to be the highest paid non-quarterback defensive player. I'm willing to play for hot dog water. Oh man, we'll see you next year. When they had the money to pay him last year. So even Parsons, he's going to end up getting $40 million. So when we talk about these things, I may not ever see $1 billion. I may not ever, and I can tell you, ever get a chance to buy and purchase the Dallas Cowboys. But what I've seen, I graduated top of my class in business administration, concentration econ. I looked at numbers my entire life. My entire life I've been looking at numbers. There's patterns and there's trends. And one thing I can tell you for sure, that the Cowboys are known to drive up their own price on their own players. Look, I can't make this stuff up. You guys can believe what you want to believe. But the Cowboys are a team that will drive up their own price on their own players. And then they have the audacity to talk about a pie is not enough to go or buy, and that's their alibi. That's just for what it is. That's all I'm saying. So, if they refuse to take the money that they do have, the $30 million that they do have, to go out there to get a defensive tackle or to get a cornerback, and they rinse and repeat, and they say the reason why we don't go out there and get these guys is because we got to pay Parsons. That's the same argument that they had for the last 30 years, 30 seasons. The reason why we can't go get this guy is because we got to pay this guy. But damn it, if they pay that guy early enough, instead of, I'm not talking about the star players, because I know they played some guys early. But if they pay their star players early, they can use that money to go get the other guys that they need. Law, do you have any truth to this? Well, you look right here. It's right here. Look, $31 million. And they refuse to go out there and get something tangible. And they try to tell y'all and try to make y'all believe that they doing anything and everything possible to go out there and put the best team forward. And we got a multitudes of guys that we lean on. And there's nothing wrong with leaning on undrafted guys that we're leaning on. I got this analogy that the Dallas Cowboys, when you go get a flat, Cowboy Nation, that donut tire, I want you to go look at that tire, and it states on there, don't go no more than 50 miles per hour, nor 50 miles. This is a spare tire to get you to point A to point B to change that tire out. But what the Cowboys tend to do, is they say, oh, we are still able to move. Oh, we are still able to travel. We are just as good as these other teams with our spare tires. But the problem is that when we get to the postseason, when we get to those harder games, and when it's time to use all four tires, they tend to bust on us. Or they tend to not be able to do the things that they are designed to do because we are so top heavy. In order for us to win in the postseason, we have to ask for a miracle to have zero injuries. We're going to have to do that because we have the inability to see and forecast down the line of what we ultimately need. We just do enough to get by, and that's not enough to win in big games and big moments. They never move. Case in point, we had an opportunity to bring in Roquan Smith. But instead of bringing in Roquan Smith, we elevated Marquise Bell, and this is going back a couple years, from the safety spot to the linebacker spot. And we played him at linebacker when your linebacker got hurt. To the point, we drafted Micah Parsons to be a linebacker. D-Law got hurt. We moved that linebacker to the edge, and we realized, lo and behold, he can get to the quarterback. An area, hear me out, an area where we were insufficient at or deficient at. Once you move one area to another area and fill one hole in, you still got a hole at linebacker. Let me know, did we ever fill that hole in for linebacker? No. I can't make this stuff up. So that's what we do. We just moving the spare tire around. Can you win, catch lightning in the bottle? Yes, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. And that's probably how the rich keep rich. Shoot. Yeah, exactly, Law, on Roquan Smith. And then it ended up, the Ravens got him for like a third round and some other stuff. They didn't spend a lot. They had to pay him, of course. I'm not saying that Roquan would have had us in the Super Bowl. But damn it, he's a whole lot better. Boy, this team would have been looking a whole lot differently for having a true linebacker versus somebody that's 214. But that's a whole nother conversation. Dramatic Izzy did get his pick tonight. The truth of the matter is, with Izzy, he's been on his team for 4 or 5 years. And we're still trying to figure out who he is. That's the other part of it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not beating this team up, but I am. That it's hard to identify who's who, which is crazy. Cowboy Nation, stand tall or not at all. Evaluation time is better after this loss because the realism can sit in. The honeymoon phase should be over with. We need to see these dogs bite, bark with results. That's been my time. I really thank you all for your. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best.